Hello beautiful people, welcome to another episode. So today I'm going to be talking about my journey in being vegan as a black woman. But before I begin, y'all know the drill. Press the buttons down below, like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. I mean, who don't want that? Anyway, before I get all hyped, let me give you all a minute just to, subscribe. We done? Cool. So today I'm going to be discussing sort of my journey in being a vegan. If you see me looking down, I've got some notes that I'm referring to because I don't want to waffle on too much. So I have been a vegan for probably about 3-4 years. The reason why I'm not 100% sure on the dates is because I never really kept track. But I believe I stopped eating meat about 5 to 6 years ago. So I'm 29 years old, I just turned 29. So I stopped eating meat before my 25th birthday, I remember. I really, if you ask any of my family and friends prior to me becoming vegetarian / vegan, they would have told you that I didn't really like meat. My friend, bless her soul, used to joke because we would go to Nando's and I'd be like, oh yeah, I want a vegetarian wrap or whatever. She'd be like, who goes to Nando's and doesn't eat chicken? And that was me. But I was never really like a big meat eater anyway in the beginning, so it was easy for me to navigate and transition out of that. I started off being vegetarian first because I found that was easier. Now I love me some cheese. Ooh, love me some cheese. I don't know what it is, but I love me some cheese. So I found that the hardest to overcome. So giving up meat was not really a big issue for me because, like I said, I wasn't really a big meat eater in the first place. But cheese, whew, that ish is delicious. So I started off by cutting out majority of meat. So no red meat, no white meat, no fish. But I still ate a bit of cheese. This was because, like I said, my love for cheese runs deep. But with that, I started to notice a few things that were going on. So the main reason why I really went vegetarian / vegan in the first place was because for health reasons and also for environmental reasons. So I used to suffer with acne quite a lot. I mean, I'm coming on here saying that, but my skin today is a hot mess. But you know what? It is what it is. We fluctuate. But I used to suffer from acne quite a lot. I don't believe I used to take any pictures really because I was trying to hide my acne because I was not just loving myself. At one point, the doctor even prescribed some tropical cream, I think it is, for me to rub on my face to like dry out my spots because they were really, really bad. I used to also notice that I would get bloating. There were certain things that I noticed in my body whenever I ate meat or had cheese or any of these things that I was like, baby girl, this ain't fun. Like, why are we going through this? Now, in hindsight, probably I was lactose intolerant, but for me, I was just trying to figure out what's going on in my body. So I cut out meat to begin with because I was like, okay, let's see what that happens there. Again, I'm not a big eater, so it didn't really bother me at all. Then after about a year or so, I was like, okay, I'm still having these symptoms of bloating, and I'm not because I'm lactose intolerant, but you just don't want to believe it. And I realized, okay, I've got to cut out cheese. I've got to cut out cheese. So finally I took the plunge and I cut out cheese. Now that was the hardest part for me because when I first became vegan, there weren't many options in terms of vegan cheese as they are now. Veganism wasn't such a big thing. Like, it was around the time when sort of gluten intolerance, people being gluten intolerant was on the rise. So there was more of a focus on that. So whenever I went to a restaurant, it would be a mushroom burger, a salad or something because there weren't really many options in terms of vegan cheese or vegan food. So I was like, oh, okay, give up cheese, let's see what we can do. And I did it. I actually felt really good. My skin cleared up significantly. I lost a bit of weight and I was like, wait, I like the way I look. Like, why was I, as much as I love cheese, it don't love me. And it's okay, baby girl. We can have, a long distance relationship where I don't see you that much, but I still think about you. I talked about how it was also an environmental perspective of why I became vegan. So around that time, I was no longer living at home. So I started to investigate or look into the foods we eat, the sustainable nature of life, really, in everyday things that we use and do. And I realized that, wait, meat consumption or meat production and all these things were actually quite harmful to the planet. Now, I started looking at documentaries and I read stuff online. So I mainly watched What the Health, Cowspiracy, and Game Changers on Netflix. Those are the ones that I remember watching. I mean, Game Changers came out probably like last year or the year before. But What the Health and Cowspiracy on Netflix I watched, and I was shocked. I was like, why the hell are we still eating meat and all these things if it's so harmful to the planet, if it's so harmful to the body? And why don't many people know about this? So that was it for me, and I was like, I'm going to try as much as I can to live a more sustainable life by taking out the meat consumption and the dairy consumption because of the effect it has on the planet. Now, I'll leave links to these documentaries that I'm mentioning down in the description below for you to have a look. So yeah, it was relatively easy for me to cut out meat. It was the cheese that was the hardest part. So then, because I wasn't living at home, it was easier for me to cook my own food, to figure out what I like, how to season food so that I didn't miss meat or cheese and any of these things. When it came to telling my family, I don't remember them making a big deal out of it, to be honest. Like, I was like, oh, Mum, I don't want no meat, just give me veg and rice or whatever. And she was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I've stopped eating meat. And that was it. It was no like confrontation or no big thing. She was like, all right, whatever. Like, my mum was like, cool, do whatever you want to do. But one thing stands out to me about probably 3 years ago, back home, probably my first time going back home being vegan. I think it was like 3 years ago, I can't remember. And my whole family back home were like, you don't eat meat? What do you eat? Like, they were just like, huh? What do you do? And I was like, I just eat the same food as you, just no meat. And they were like, okay, cool, no big deal, just didn't think nothing of it. But I really struggled actually that year when I went back, it wasn't even a year, I think it was a month. I really struggled that time because everybody was having braai. Now, if you're from Southern Africa, you know about braai. I'm salivating just think of it. Now, braai is a tradition where you put the meat on there, you know, you have a little bonfire, you have drinks, and it's more about the experience rather than the food. So we'd have that, we'd have gatherings, we'd have braais, and there would be the smell of meat wafting, and I used to think, oh my God, like it smells delicious, but I know I don't want to eat it due to health and also environmental reasons. And I was like, okay, I've got to find out if there's any meat replacements available in Botswana. So that way I feel like I'm part of the gang. So when they put their meat on the grill, they put in my, you know, vegan burgers or vegan sausages on the grill too. And I remember we went to, was it Spa or Choppy Seat? I can't remember. It was at Airport Junction Mall. And I went there with my mom, and babes, there was a whole aisle. I was so happy. Like, you should have seen me. Like, the excitement level was up to here. I was so happy. Because I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize, like, I didn't know that I would ever find stuff like this in Botswana. I don't know why in my mind I didn't think that Botswana was on that level, because if anybody knows Botswana, we're known for our beef and our diamonds, because we rear some of the most delicious cows. I'm just gonna say that. And also the diamonds that we dig up, and we found Prince Harry actually gifted, or Meghan's ring actually has a diamond from Botswana on it. So I was really surprised, but pleasantly surprised. So I had my meat replacements. I didn't feel like I was missing out at all, because back home in Botswana, we mainly eat some form of carb and veg and then meat. So I would have a carb, veg, but no meat doing it. It was never a thing like, what's wrong with you, rah, 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 all that. Nah, they just accepted it, and it was good to go. Now, I think the biggest struggle for me, has been sweet things. I have a sweet tooth, like, oh, I have such a sweet tooth. And in the beginning, I struggled because I didn't know what I can and couldn't eat. I was now looking at the back of labels and figuring out that crisps had some form of like meat flavoring on them. Like the most random stuff had meat flavoring in it. And you were like, but how? Why would you put meat flavoring or dairy? Like, there were some crisps, I dare you, go look into some crisps that you think are just basic crisps, and there'll be a form of dairy product or dairy flavoring in there. So I was now looking at the back of products like, oh my God, okay, can I eat this? Can I not eat this? And I was realizing that there was a lot of sweet things that I normally used to eat that I couldn't eat. So I had to start finding stuff out. And then baby, when I found out Oreos were vegan, woo! Excitement level up here. Or maybe up there, like you can't even see it. But I was so excited when I found out that Oreos were vegan. I therefore developed a bit of an obsession with Oreos. Like, I ate them all the time. I used to have multiple flavors every day in my bag, my work desk, everywhere. Like, my old workplace, they knew Oreos were my thing. To the point where when one of them went to America, they actually brought back, what was it? Peanut butter flavor, I think, and red velvet flavor Oreos. Oh my God, I was so happy. I was like, ah, like, I know, I'm sad. But it was a journey of discovering what I can and can't eat that also fits into my lifestyle, because I don't want to completely change my lifestyle. I like sweets. I never liked meat, so it was no big issue. The cheese part was quite interesting because actually after a while, I wasn't that bothered about the cheese part, because if you don't eat something for a while, you kind of just forget about it. You're like, okay, I don't eat it, cool. Like, I didn't go around searching for different types of cheeses or vegan cheese to try and figure out, is this good, is that not good, what is it, do I like, all this kind of stuff. I kind of just lived my life without cheese for a good while. One of the struggles I found was that people think that being vegan, oh, you're gonna drastically lose weight because you don't eat much. No, you start to find foods that you can eat in those bad categories. I would find crisps that were vegan. Oreos, like I told you, were vegan. I'd eat them like crazy. Number of dark chocolate that was vegan. And also I would find people were starting to come out now. I mean, I think in the last 2 years or so, the vegan momentum has like, oh my God, like grown so much. It's immense. So there were so many more things that were popping up that were replacements for certain foods, but equally as bad. So I actually gained a lot of weight back after a while, because I was finding certain foods. I was like, oh, they have a replacement for this, I want it. Oh, they have a replacement for this, I want it. Oh, they have a replacement for this. But again, it was me just trying to figure out, okay, what do I like, what don't I like? What do I miss? What do I miss the most? I think about fish sometimes. I think about becoming pescatarian, but then I remember about the plastic in the ocean that's been ingested by the fish, and also the overfishing, and it's just like, it's a hot mess when it comes to fish. There's a documentary by I forgot their name. Oh man, I forgot their name, but their documentary was War on Plastic. I'll put it down below. I think I linked it on my blog on simplyitse.com, so have a look at that. But they were looking at plastic in terms of plastic in the atmosphere, plastic in the food that we eat, and the impact of that. And one of the things they were looking at was fish. Fish, obviously, there's microparticles of plastic in the ocean that's broken down from all the plastic that's in the ocean, and they ingest that, and then we ingest the fish. So we're looking at what's going to happen when, after a while of us ingesting high levels of microplastics or particles of plastic, you keep ingesting more and more, what's going to happen on your body? And that put me off of thinking about ever becoming pescatarian, because I was like, do you know what? No, I don't want to do that. And also fish, the poor fish, like overfishing is just, it's no. So sometimes I think about like salmon and stuff like that, but generally I don't miss anything. There's a lot of vegan food out there. I even found vegan pate. And I was like, vegan pate? Oh my God, like, I'm there. We found vegan shrimp. Not really shrimp, but like vegan shrimp, you know? We found a bunch of things that actually could have helped me not miss anything, because the vegan movement has grown so much. Now, on the flip side, because the vegan movement has grown so much, everybody's like, actually that's a lie, not everybody. A lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon of being vegan because they believe it's cool, it's the new age thing, and like, oh, I'm vegan, you know, when somebody asks you, I'm vegan. But actually they don't believe in the ethos of why they became vegan in the first place, or why a lot of people are vegan, and that ultimately it's also about protecting the environment and doing your part for the environment. A lot of things that we decided to cut out in my home, just because I wanted to do as much as I can for the environment. I wasn't being a vegan just to be like, to have a title. I'm a vegan because I really believe in the vegan movement. Now, the reason why I say a lot of people jumped on is because actually recently that we noticed that there's still quite a lot of people who don't know what being a vegan is. I know, you're like, what, in 2021? No, but yes. An incident happened recently. So before my birthday, we went to get sushi at Sainsbury's. I say wait, my other half went and got it because baby, I don't leave my house unless I have to. But he went and got sushi. So he said to the guy, because you can make your own, and he was like, vegan please, so no mayo. No fish, no mayo. It was like, cool, vegan. Then when he picked up the vegan, the sushi, he was like, well, wait, there's a dressing on there. And he was like, oh yeah, it's vegan, it's mayo. Or sour cream or something. And my boyfriend was like, but I said vegan. He was like, oh wait, is it not? Like, the guy really had no clue. And I was like, I still don't understand how people have not educated themselves in today's world to understand what being a vegan is. Okay, I know there's so many different types of like food labels and people who label them certain things, you know, and they can be quite convincing. But I think we need to take it upon ourselves to educate ourselves on what being a vegan is, what foods I can and can't eat. So luckily with that, my boyfriend picked it up quite quickly, and the guy was apologetic. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. There was also a point where we've gone to get coffee, and my boyfriend would be like, oh, can I have soya milk or oat milk? And then they'll put regular milk, and you can taste the difference. So he tasted it and he was like, this doesn't taste right. And he goes back to the woman, he's like, sorry, did you put soya or oat milk? And she was like, oh my God, no. Like, she was really nervous because she thought, oh my God, no, he's got an allergic reaction. The moment he went, no, I don't worry, I'm not allergic to it. She was like, oh, okay. Like, she didn't seem to give a fuck. And it was like, no, that's because that's his personal preference to do that, to live that lifestyle. And just because it's not an illness or disease or he's not allergic to it, doesn't mean that he should also like, oh, just eat whatever, you'll be good. This brings on to the negative side of being vegan. As I've said, pointed out a few of the items. One is sometimes people around you are like, just eat it, you're not gonna die, you're not allergic, you'll be fine, just eat it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it on these principles that I've already expressed in this video. I don't want to eat it because I have chosen to live my life down this path, and I'm not just going to do it just to please you. I've had many talks with my sister about my veganism, and I'll be like, I can't eat that, and she'll be like, well, you technically can eat it, you're just choosing not to. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I can't eat it. Like, physically, I couldn't pick up a spoon or a fork and cut into a steak. I couldn't. I don't even know what steak tastes like at this point. Like, I forgot it. I couldn't do it. But I understood from her perspective as somebody who eats meat that for me saying I can't implies there's something actually stopping me, like there's a barrier or like I'm allergic to it. Whereas she preferred if I say I won't eat that, as that it was a choice and not necessarily something that was like medically wrong with me. The downside of that as well is that many people don't have options for you. So I tend to not go around other people's houses, only because then there's often that conversation of like, what do you eat? Oh, I don't know what to cook you. And it's just like, it's just so easy. I eat veg. Like, I don't understand. I find that the easiest part. But it'd be like, oh, what do you eat? What should we cook you? And I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'll host dinner at my house. That way I control the food that I eat. I know what I eat and I know what I put in. Because a lot of people, if they're asking questions like, what do you eat? They don't know what you eat. There's a chance that they're going to accidentally put in something they shouldn't have because they were like, oh, I thought it was vegan. Not understanding. So with all that being said, I would say that for me, I am 100% happy about the journey that I took. I'm looking forward to seeing what else in my life I can change in terms of becoming more sustainable and more caring towards the environment. I implore everybody to educate themselves as much as they can on the damage we're causing to the environment. I mean, if I'm not going to sit here and be one of those conspiracy theorists, but I also believe that Miss Rona, you know, with everything that happened, showed us that actually a lot of the things that we would normally do were quite harmful to the planet. But again, that's my own little side note on that, or side take on that. But yeah, I implore everybody to educate themselves as much as they can on veganism, the impact of the, you know, everything that we do, pollution onto the world, how they can do their part. I will sit here though and say I am not the type of vegan to go out there and be like, you're eating meat, you're a bad person, you're eating cheese, you're a bad person. No, surprising to a lot of people, my boyfriend eats meat. I know, you're shocked, right? But he eats meat. He chooses to occasionally not eat meat in the home that him and I both share. But if we go to a restaurant, or if we want to take, or if he feels like it, he'll buy some meat. There is no restriction I've placed on him that says, no, you cannot bring meat in my presence. No, my whole family are meat eaters. All my friends are meat eaters. So I'm not the type of person or type of vegan to go around preaching and being like, oh, you're a bad person for eating meat. No, I say do the part that you can in the world. If you can maybe use less plastic, shop less in fast fashion, all these things that are, you know, unfortunately killing the environment. If you can reduce those, kudos to you. Nobody's saying that you should go out there and be a vegan, or, you know, stop eating meat and all these things. That is your personal preference, whatever you want to do. So I'm not making this video to try and tell people what to do, what not to do. I'm just encouraging you, like I said, to try and educate yourself on the benefits of living a plant-based lifestyle. Now, I waffled on for a lot, didn't I? So yeah, that was basically it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I really want to put in here. I think I've covered the basics really. It's become second nature to me. Like, I don't even think about it. I still look at the back of labels just to be on the safe side, but I'm not so, what's the word? I'm not so concerned about whether there's variety for me in, you know, restaurants or supermarkets, because there's so much available now. Too much sometimes that I think, I don't know if that was necessary. I don't know if y'all remember, I mean, y'all probably wouldn't, but there was, maybe you might, there was a burger, beetroot burger or vegan burger, that when you cut into it, bled. And that's because what they've done is in the inside of the burger, they put beetroot juice. When you cut into it, it like leaked beetroot juice, so it looked like blood, which I found absolutely disgusting, because I'm like, why would I want to eat a fake meat that looks like meat with blood? Like, no. I became vegan not because you know, I don't miss meat, so why would I want to eat something that resembles meat? Like, no, that for me was just nasty. I just couldn't get past it. But yeah, let me know below if you have any questions, if you want me to do a part 2 more about my journey, if you also want me to do a what I eat in a day or what I eat in a week video, let me know. But yes, let's engage in conversation. And again, I'll leave all the links to the documentaries that I've discussed down below so you can have a look. Don't forget to find me on Instagram at simply_itse, and I'll see you in another video.